Everyone has a dream, but there are some people who are talkers. There are some people who are talkers and doers.
Do you believe that the average Ghanaian youth has a problem with financial management?
Majority of our youths like what they see on social media, but they don't want to put in the energy or work to fund that particular lifestyle. And that was that person who was always saying that go to school, get a job, get married, that kind of old mentality, because that's what he was programmed to do.
After university, what was your plan?
I did my national service. He lobbied for a job. I told him I was not going. I'm going to do my own job.
How much did it cost you to start your bread business?
I took a quick loan from MTN.
I have been told that 70% of the people I interview on this podcast, they got capital to start their business coming from abroad. Did you travel abroad?
I have not traveled outside to go and stay there. I go for holidays.
There's a discussion around the staff troubles that most business owners face in Ghana. My research tells me that it's worse in Nigeria.
You don't hire because of skill. You hire because of moral and attitude.
Sami, how many staff members do you have?
I have 8 people.
I see.
Ghanaians will always say, you are too known. You are coming out of yourself to know that this and that, you can achieve it. But people, they'll just bring you back and say, this guy, or trying to hold it on, or you feel so no. But in the end, you know what you want.
I'm speaking to an entrepreneur, a young person. His name is Samuel Echapon. And Samuel owns Banana Bread GH. A very young guy. He's working really hard, and he has a message for you that you can also change your life simply by thinking right and taking the right action. On the 9th of September, we are going to Kumasi, Osei Krum, for our second edition of Connected Minds Live. Connected Minds Live is an event where every lover and a fan of what we do here, we all come together, we network, because I believe in network. And then also, I get to give a speech and bring guests around as well. Obinda Akun is going to be there, Eko Sean is going to be there, and a few other business people we are going to invite are going to be there. So you don't miss out. There's a lot of details that we are going to put in the description. You should grab a seat for the event. You can also listen to Connected Minds on Apple and Spotify. The link is in the description. My name is Derek Abaite. If it's your first time here, subscribe so that we can grow and get big and big and big and bigger guests. Hi, Samuel. How are you doing?
I'm good, Derek.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the people that are listening to this podcast will get more value out of it, like I have, speaking to you before the pod. Yeah. Samuel, do you believe that the average Ghanaian youth has a problem with financial management?
Yes, I believe solely because majority of our youths like what they see on social media, but they don't want to put in the energy or work to get the needed resources to fund that particular lifestyle. The best money they get, the best thing they think, or first thought that comes in mind is to look good. Go to a flashy restaurant, a flashy hotel, take videos, take pictures, and come and post for the gram. Meanwhile, all those things are just liabilities. You're not thinking about acquiring assets. Basically, that's that. That's our major problem as youth, social media.
So the social media is really messing us up.
Instead of us understanding social media very well and use it to our own gain, we are looking at it from a different angle, and it really hurts.
You have used it to build a business?
Yes, I have. I've built a business out of social media. I'll say all I have is built on social media. From the bakery there are 2 bakeries. One, that's what you just spoke about, Banana Bread Ghana. But I have one that also deals in bakery, but it's for a higher standard or higher class. But basically the one is just, and social media has done it all for me. From especially Instagram. I'm just new on TikTok, but I'm still finding the bigger audience. Social media, it's a game-changing era for everyone.
There are people on social media.
Right.
They use the platform to build a business.
Right.
And there are some people, they use the platform to build
clout,
let's say. You've come in today, you drove yourself here, brought us some products as well, which I'm going to show to the audience as well at some point. And I can clearly see that, you're a very humble guy and your aim is simply just to build your business and focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing from Monday to Sunday, from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's all it's on my mind, nothing else.
Let me go through the research.
Good.
The USDA made, put a data together. It says that the Ghana Grain Report, it says 70% of wheat flour in Ghana is used for bread making. Why? Why do you consume so much bread?
We consume so much bread because bread would say will be the most affordable, the most cheapest for us as Ghanaians to hop on, to fill the tummy, so that we can go and hustle.
Isn't there other alternatives?
There are so many different alternatives that we can route to, but the general Ghanaian mind, once we are told that this is for this, it's difficult for us to do further research to see what other products can we use the flour for. But basically, we know flour is for bread, flour is for frying meat and all that. But we've not gone and sat down and see what can we do. That's how the other big businesses coming into the market are using the same flour we use for bread to make game-changing products in our market, such as the biscuits and all that. But what we individuals or Ghanaians importing the product into the country, we are not seeing the actual value. We are just looking at it from just one angle, bread and just different breads. But people are using the same flour to make something that is worth much the bread. So what's the problem? Our problem is not thinking, sitting down to do research to see what we can do with something beyond what we are using it for. That's all.
Now, after university, in fact, at uni, what was your plan? And after university, what happened?
Okay, so in uni, I'm someone from childhood. I've been telling my parents that I don't fancy a white-collar job. And my dad got crazy about it. Okay, I'll tell you that story later. In the end, I used to hustle a lot because anyone who knows me from University of Ghana, Legon, they might know me as a bread seller, as a perfume seller, as a sock seller, so like anything that's really needed, or as a connection man, basically, because I built a network that brings a lot of opportunities to my doorsteps. So anyone who knows me, who is watching this podcast, some people even say I am an electrician, because anything that I felt there were so much problems and I had so much solutions to it. And I read a book which says solve a problem and the problem attracts wealth. So I always found joy in solving problems that people felt, first and foremost, felt it was dirty to be done. They would think, what would society say about it? That's what I prefer to do. And majority of Ghanaians have not studied that the most jobs that bring in the cash are the dirty jobs. And someone who has completed University of Ghana, Legon, bagged an economics and geography major, why would I go and do that job? Any mere Ghanaian would be having that mindset. I have a degree, why should I do this job? That's where the money is also. So if you are shining it away, you are going to fall back. So there are a lot of ways to do stuff. Come to talk about it, university actually opened my mind to do a lot of stuff. Go out beyond my capabilities, because I realized there was so much to do. And my dad was that person who was always saying that go to school, get a job, get married, that kind of old mentality. But I had to let him learn the hard way, and I also took it the hard way because it got to a point he didn't fail, because that's the assertion he had, that process, that path is what is going to bring success, because that's what he was programmed to do. But in the end, as I stated, I always told them I didn't like to do a white-collar job. I'm going to do my own job.
But why? Why didn't you want to just, do a white-collar job?
Because I felt that was not for me.
So when did you realize that?
Oh, at a young age, at class 4.
I see.
I actually started business in class 4. Okay. Anyone who is watching me who went to Danson Baptist Academy, I started business, fast for less cast of one back. In class 4, that was then the upbringing of sausages, noodles, and fast food. And everyone wanted a piece of it. So where we lived, there's a junction, there was one food seller at the entrance of the neighborhood, and there was one at the exit of the neighborhood. And there was already one who was already existing in the middle of the neighborhood. So the people who came from the left side of town were stopped because The first person who was at the junction had bagged the customers over there.
Yep.
The second one on the right side had also bagged. So no one was moving into the main neighborhood to come and buy the food.
Okay.
So I realized, this guy is having low sales. I have an idea. Why don't I approach him, tell him that I can sell the food for him? But I didn't tell him directly. I told him that I want a pack of noodles so that you deliver to me in school. And in school, everyone says that whenever I eat, it becomes mouth-watering for them.
Okay.
So I leveraged on that, and he brought the food during the break time. And during as kids, we go to break, then a few minutes to break over, we walk through back to the classroom. So that's when I opened the food, and that's where I started business. So fast forward to class 6, I had taken the entire market in the school from JHS to upper primary. I was providing them lunch.
I see.
So the point, they had to do a PTA because of me. Because the canteen people were complaining that anytime they brought food, the kids were not buying, they were buying from me. So they had to ban me. And they didn't know that because I had built a network, I had the headmaster, because he liked jollof. And he had conditions. So I made the one who was supplying the food do a special pack for him. And funny enough, my dad was just a road after my school. So anyone could have just gone to report me. But all of them, who doesn't like free lunch? I always brought them free lunch. You are not paying for food, so why would you go and report? Fast forward, they had to do a PTA because of me to understand why I've been able to conquer the market. And they gave me a letter. That's why I felt my teachers made a wrong mistake, because my mom was my accountant at that time. So when they brought me the letter to go and give to my dad, my mom knew what I was doing in school. And the only bargain between my mom was that I should make sure my grades were good.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't bring any suspicion that I'm focusing on the money
than the education.
than education.
Right.
So I gave the letter to her, and so she attended the PTA. And everything was rubbish. So I continued with the business till I completed school. The only time I didn't sell on campus was when we were writing BC. Fast forward, we went to university, SHS. Anything anyone wanted outside campus, I could get for you. I had my profit margin on top. So I started business basically at a tender age, and it ran through to university. So as at SSS2, my dad asked me, what do I want to be after completing university? And I told him, I don't know what I wanted to do, because I've actually, I tasted the money bit. So I felt there was, even if I did that at that age, there was more room for me to explore once I was done with school. So my dad was still against that session. So in the end, fast forward, I completed university. I did my national service. He lobbied for a job. I told him I was not going because I'm not meant for that. Anytime I wear a white shirt, like an office attire, I don't feel comfortable in it. So I didn't like it. And my business, everything made sense to me, but I worked with someone who was highly autistic, but she was really functioning. We have the highly spectrum, the ones who are highly functioning. And it just dawned on me one time, I got a 1-year contract with her. In fact, it was fun how I even got a job with her. She was looking for an executive assistant. And I applied for the job. After the interview, they called me back that if it's possible, they would like to, they've gotten the executive assistant, but the lady would like to speak to me. And it was very strange for the one, because she's based in the UK. So it was very strange that the broker who brought us in, she said this was the first time she was having such meetings. So the lady told me that an executive assistant is someone who takes orders. And I'm someone, based on the conversation she's had with me during the interview period, I do not take orders. I'm stubborn. So she has an offer for me. If I'll be able to, they were trying to bring rosehip oil into the market. If I was able to document the process to enter the market, she'll be very delightful and she'll pay me for that. So I did that for her. Within 2 days, I did and send a 28 document to her. And she was like, wow, I'll hear from her. So she paid me. Later on, I've forgotten, I was just still doing baking. I started baking after SHS. So I was all doing that as like a side hustle, but I was not taking it serious. So I started working with her. And I told myself, someone who is, we are fully human, we see everything normal. She's human, but she's seeing things from another side of the world. And she's putting in all her energy, all her strength to achieve what she wants to achieve, despite her own challenges. I don't have such challenge, so what is stopping me from achieving mine? So eventually I had to put in a resignation letter to her to say that I was going to work with her. And she got pissed because apparently I've been the longest Ghanaian
Right.
working with her, because all Ghanaians, when they come, they say the work is too tough. They are requesting for more benefits and all that. And she paid me really good. Even leaving, I was even doubting myself, but I had to take that decision.
Yeah.
So she was really, really pissed about it. And you see, they do not develop feelings. But all of a sudden, she had grown sort of an attachment to me. So leaving means she had to restart her own process and journey to now get back to a normal stage. So she was really, really pissed. But all in all, she taught me a lot to put in a lot of energy to achieve your own goals without thinking that you are disadvantaged. So that's what has been at the back of my head each and every time I'm pursuing a new goal. So that's what's happened in that space. And it's channeled me to this point that I opened my own business, putting that same energy, because sometimes we can go to work in the morning at 9 a.m. and leave at 12 a.m. And she would not go. I'll go and come back and she'll be in the same spot trying to figure out the solution, because she always felt that there's always a solution to a problem. No matter what, you just can't take a 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour break and continue. So it gave me that positioning word in the system that there's always a solution to everything, to every problem. So that's what I've tried to do, and it has brought me to finding a solution to the question you gave. Why are we not using the flour to make other products? So my bread is banana bread made out of 100% bananas. Then we use the flour. That's it. So being able to open your mindset to achieve and do further research as entrepreneurs, find what problems to what solutions, and be an opportunistic person. No matter what, Ghanaians will always say, you are too known. Why are you too known? You are coming out of your shelf to know that this, and that, you can achieve it. But people, they'll just bring you back and say, this guy, or you feel some.
Yeah.
But in the end, you know what you want. You should always kick in and go for what you want. That's it.
Samuel, your mom and dad, do they have businesses?
My mom has a business.
Okay.
She has, how do you call it? Like a mini mart. That's what my mom has. My dad is a tailor, but he was a man of so many works because he always wanted us to get the best. So any opportunity that's one thing I also learned from my dad. Any opportunity that he knows he could do it, even if he doesn't do it, he has a friend or two who can do it.
Right.
He's going to network and make sure that the work gets done. That's the kind of...
So you picked that from him.
I
You became a middleman.
Yes, I became a middleman. And I also learned to do, because my dad, he's a man of so many works.
Yeah.
He can do it himself.
Yes.
He has fair idea about doing it. So if he takes you, he knows that if you do it this way, it's supposed to make this way. So I developed that kind of mindset and said, I can do everything, but I might not get it perfect. I might need the professional to come into the picture to certify that what was done was already done. I learned that trade from my dad.
How many siblings are you?
We are 4, but I'm the firstborn.
Right. So in total, there's 4 of you.
4 of us.
And how many of you are into business?
3 of us are into business.
Okay, love it. Do you believe entrepreneurs are born or made?
I think entrepreneurs are born.
I see. Why?
The workload of an entrepreneur, if you are not born with it and you try to make something out of it, you give up on the path. But if you are born with it, you have a mindset that there will be challenges. You go through a lot of pits, there are a lot of valleys, but if you are able to consistently and persistently persist, that's who you are made to be.
I see.
Yeah.
So if you take your mind back all the way to, let's say, 70 years ago,
Right.
what were your grandparents doing? They were farming on lands.
Right.
Right. A lot of them Those were the skills they were not thinking about. And I usually say that in my village, Akim Swabe, when I was growing up, I didn't see people say, I'm going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to work. It's never. It was when I moved to a bigger town, Akimoda. That was when, yes, people used to go to work, but most people used to farm on their lands.
Right.
Or they will cook rice. I mean, my mom used to do that at some point where she'll cook rice and then, sell it in front of our house.
That's right.
So I never saw people doing that. So I've always been of the view that the society changed it.
Right.
That was the way people were living. But then society changed it over time.
Society changes it, and individuals also change, revolve. You see, time is not static. Time is always moving ahead. And you don't need to be static whilst things are changing. You also need to prepare yourself to change with time.
Yeah.
This statement or this lesson was taught to me during my national service with GRA, and one of my bosses, Mr. Adai,
Yeah.
he says that you might get an opportunity to work somewhere, but if you've not prepared for it, the opportunity might come, but you cannot grab it. So prepare yourself for the change so that if the opportunity meets you halfway or you even see it, you run towards it and it becomes yours.
While somebody is at university today and they are thinking of getting a job, but it may not happen, what sort of preparation do you think they can have in order to grab opportunity when they come out?
They should invest in a skill, handiwork skill.
Give me 2 examples of skills that you think people can learn at university before coming out.
Plumbing, fashion, and finally, sewing. It's part of fashion. So the final one is welding. You can achieve that skill, learn it. You might not know that might be your source of income after school. Let me give you an example. My dad, as I said, he was a tailor. When I was in SHS, I tried learning the skill. And he told me that, Same, Juma way, and I'm here in ska. Anka, several months to say.
Right. Say it in English.
If this work is what I did to make money, wouldn't be seeing ourselves in this kind of circumstance.
What was he trying to tell you?
That the trade was dying.
I see. And he didn't see a need for you to learn it.
Right. Because he felt that people were coming to his shop, or people were coming to sew, example, trousers, shirts.
Yeah.
But right now, they already made ones which have been imported.
Okay.
So the market is dying. So why would you want to come and learn such skill where the market is dying? But I had love for it. So I did it behind his back. I still went ahead and learned it.
Yeah. One of my good friends, Coach Ekoeshon, usually talks about this. He says that if you're a 40-year-old and you have a certificate and you don't have a job, you should throw the certificate away. And the idea he wants to give you is to learn how to bake bread and sell it. My question is, how much did it cost you to start your bread business?
It cost me 600 cedis.
How?
As and when I finished my national service, I've done a lot of investments. Investments in acquiring the equipment required for starting the bakery. But it was left with the raw materials. And I had just 200 cedis left. And I took a quick loan from MTN of 400 Ghana cedis. And I added it. I remember very well. And I went to my mom and told my mom that this is the amount of money I have. So if she has a fair idea because she's a trader. So she knows where I could get flour products at a much cheaper cost. So that if I start with it, I'm good to go. So I did so. She showed me a place in Kaneshi. I went to buy the stuff. Even transportation to come back home was an issue. But I called her, she told me to take a taxi, she pay for the taxi. And that's how I started my business with 600 Ghana cedis. I didn't buy a full bag of flour. I bought the necessary things that would keep production. So We started production. That's where the challenges came in. It didn't go the way I anticipated. Because as I started this brand especially, the cost of a full sugar bread was 16 Ghana cedis. And I was selling a mini size for also 15 Ghana cedis. And the Ghanaian, in their normal perspective, when you say bread, they are looking at it like the big bread.
Right. Okay.
Are we okay? So not everyone was making a purchase. And people who made a purchase about it complained too bitterly. So I was listening to a message from on YouTube, and it was from Kenya, Japan. It says Ghanaians talk too much when they don't know the value they are getting.
Let me stop you here for a minute. So if it's your first time watching Connected Minds, or you have been here before but still have not subscribed, do us a favor, because majority of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed. This doesn't help us grow beyond what we expect. So help us by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's get back to the conversation.
So that statement resonated with me. Then I started doing education about what I'm selling, why you should get this as compared to getting the other one. Because the plain bread, the sugar bread, the butter bread that we get is just for taste. We are not getting any significant nutritional benefits from those ones. But with these ones, with the banana bread, for example, we are using 100% bananas and flour. If you want it on a very good note, we use almond flour or oats flour to make the production so that you get 100% of the vitamins, the natural amino acids, and all that from the product you are consuming. So I started preaching that, and all started from social media, Instagram. And I started getting a certain class of people or class who were diabetic. So they couldn't eat these kind of white bread loaves and all that. So once they bought it, they checked their glucose level, whether it had risen high. They realized that once they eat it, it's super stable.
Right.
So one person informed the other, then it became like, I've gotten a channel of people. Every person who is diabetic, 1 or 2 chances, the person is also having high blood pressure.
Right.
So I got the diabetics and those people who were hypertensive as well.
Right.
Then those were where my markets were coming from consistently. And also, a dietitian also ordered from me and realized that this is good. So he started recommending me to his patients. That's where the market started. And me doing further markets or further teachings on social media, I also got another category of people who are already healthy, but they are trying to stay healthy. That's how come I even got the name, the motto for the brand. Eat healthy, stay healthy. So that started, and 1 or 2 people edit, and I realized that eating in the normal, with this one, when you eat it, you stay fuller for a long time because of the high fiber content in them. As compared to the white bread, once you eat, within a few hours, it just leaves your system. So people realize that this is value for money, not quantity. So that's where I realized that my market is not just for the ordinary Ghanaian or anyone. Some people are just trying to fill their tummies and hustle. Once in a while, they might try it, but there are people who are constantly eating it so that they might still enjoy the privileges they have or the kind of taste and preference that they still want. And there are some people who are eating it just to stay healthy, to prevent future problems. So that's where I saw my market audience.
That's a niche.
And we've capitalized on it till now.
And it all came from a message you heard from Honorable Ken.
Right.
And you started creating content around it.
Right.
I mean, content is magical. There's no business advice that you would receive today that doesn't have an element of social media in it.
Good.
You have the tool, you have a phone, just create content, right? And feed them with the right information.
Right.
I think for you, the way you did it is powerful. Give people education. And once you educate them, they find the products and you are selling the product, so they buy it from you.
Good. So in the end, that's how we started. And based on that, I had to do further as I said, a lot of Ghanaian youths do not like to do research. They like to just take what they see as they heard it. Whether the narrative is true or false, they just hop on it. And in the end, they just repeat it or reiterate it or make it louder with their platforms without them basically understanding the situation. So when it comes to example my workplace, I tell them that if you hear an information, verify it before you come. Because I always am on social media 24/7.
Okay. Because that's where you build your
business. That's where I build everything. I'm on social media 24/7. When I hear something, I just don't take it as it is. I also do my back-end investigations and see how true is this before I come out to what also talk about it.
Today, there are a lot of research that's also coming out to say that there are most ingredients in products that are causing issues for me. And I'm going to use this opportunity to ask you a question on your product.
Okay.
This is one of your products.
Yes.
The banana bread Ghana. Now, as a pharmacist, I also want to ask you a question, which is,
okay,
are the ingredients in this product 100% safe for people to take?
Yes, 100% safe.
How do you know that?
Because before we moved into the market, I had to do further research, do a lot of lab research. So this product has been authenticated by CSIR to be safe, by FDA to be safe. And me personally, I wanted to see the shelf life of the product.
So you've done a stability test?
Stability test.
I see.
To see the shelf life of the product without adding preservatives, because we don't add preservatives at all. So I had to sit time, invest money, because when I had the money, because the statement, if you are doing something and you want it to last, invest money into it. So some people will start business, money comes, they buy flashy stuff. I reinvest that into research to understand the product. Example, all these items are naturally sourced. The only item that comes in, which is artificially made, is this baking soda. And the function of baking soda is to nullify the acidic compound in the product and to help the product rise. Aside that, 99% of the ingredients are natural.
I love it. No, thank you for that clarity. I have been told in comments that 70% of the people I interview on this podcast have all traveled abroad. They got capital to start their business coming from abroad. Samuel, are you one of them? Did you travel abroad?
No, I didn't travel abroad. Everything, as I said, was made from social media.
Today, as you are running your business, the 2 bakeries that you have, are you happy with the life you have?
I'm super happy because I go back to the house tired from what I love doing. Baking is very, very therapeutic for me. And I love it, interacting with the customers. Some of them, they give you a high temper, all that. It's like a whole package, and I love it. Each and every day, waking up at 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. closing, it's like a beautiful roller coaster.
When you look at the struggles of being an entrepreneur and the peace of being an employee, which one do you like the most?
I'll say the struggles. The struggles because there are a series of failures that end up to one success. So I'd rather be in that loop of failure each and every time and succeed. I'm not saying being an employee is bad, but not everyone also is born to be an entrepreneur. There are some people who are supposed to remain where they are and grow genuinely. As the company grows, they grow with the company. And if you find yourself that you have grown the company, you find a better place where you think your resources or your knowledge you've acquired is much deemed.
Some people are also saying that the jobs they have does not pay them enough.
Good.
So I sometimes also like to ask that, well, if the job is not paying you enough, then maybe go and start your own thing. True or false?
True and false at the same time.
Okay.
Because you're going to start your own thing. Everyone has a dream, but there are some people who are talkers. There are some people who are talkers and doers. That person who you are talking to might say, Charlie, if I get 100,000, I can start this business. But is not willing to take that first initial step to start it without nothing. or starting with the little they have, they are waiting for that big money. And that big money will not miraculously come from anywhere. Maybe a scenario, once in a 10,000, maybe the person has a backup plan somewhere that the money might fall. But on the general perspective, money will not come from anywhere for that business idea to just start up. For example, when I perceived this idea, I could have waited that let me go and work a bit more, get more cash before I start. But as and when it just dawned on me that, Sammy, this lady you are working for, she's having difficulties.
Yep.
She's having challenges.
Yep.
But out of all these challenges, she's still persevering consistently each and every day to strive to do best. And out of the normal people who are already normal, she's outsmarted everyone and she's always at number one. And me, I don't have, nothing is limiting me in terms of mental stress or anything. I can just go for it. I just did analysis and just took the risk and did it. If it didn't work well, I would have blamed myself, but I took a risk. Out of that risk, there might be failures, but I'm not going to repeat that same failure if I took another risk. It's all about how you take the first step, make sure that maybe you are not born for it, but you know somebody who can assist somebody that to make the entrepreneur's dream a bigger reality. So as you are saying, you can function like a middleman. And out of the being the middleman, you also make your ends meet out of it. It's not necessary.
Or an investor.
Right.
So, you have a bakery. Maybe we can open the third branch. I've got some 100,000 cedis in one corner. You started there, put the same systems, give me some cool 10% so that I can still keep my day job.
Right.
But I know that every 6 months, there's dividends coming from this side.
So that's it. It's not about also trying to start your own. There are some people in life who are born to suffer and they have their ideas. They just need to start whatever they start with. And there are some people who have the money and the resources, but they don't know what to do. So it's just you making sure that you strive as much as possible to be visible enough to attract the people who have the resources to see what you are doing, have the little faith like a mustard seed to try and say, let me bet my investment to this guy and see how it turns out.
Uncle Kwame said when he bet on a few young people who had just finished university, 2 of them used the money to travel abroad. One funny thing my uncle said, he says, Kofi, let the US, Canada, and the UK say that if you walk and get to our country, we'll give you papers, you have a stay. He says the people that will not go will be the people in wheelchair. Even those people, they will try to get there. He was simply trying to tell me that almost every single person in this country would wish to go abroad. So when he bet on them, 2 people left. And it's the reason why some investors are also saying that they would rather put money in people who have started something here, that are busy working on it to try to make it work, than to give the money to somebody who just finished university and is looking for an investor. They haven't done anything. They haven't tried anything.
That's what there's always this statement. You need to set a track record. You have to prove it that you are capable of doing it. No investor would like to bet a huge amount of money without seeing a little bit of track record. So you just need to put in that step to say, okay, I'm doing this. Try as much as possible and bring visibility. Some people get their visibility through the bad way. Some people get it the popular way.
Right.
So how do we go about it? Do you want to go on the bad narrative and later come and change the narrative? Or you go on the good narrative, then in the end, it comes to the point you want to say it. So it depends on you, how you want people to perceive how things are going and how actually the thing is going. There's a difference between perceiving and knowing the nitty-gritties of what is going on.
Okay.
Make it very visible, make it very transparent, so that when anyone comes, the person knows that, okay, this is what the person has been able to do. A proven track record. Person has Me like this, if you give me money to travel abroad, I'm sorry, I'm not going.
Why?
Because there are so many opportunities, there are so many problems. Every time I tell myself, if I had more resources, I'll be doing a lot of stuff.
I see.
Because I always see a lot of problems. I have a book written down. I see every problem, I write it down. Sometimes I'm on social media and I say, okay, so someone has thought of this and is working on it. Okay, so cancel it out. Sometimes I even share problems with my friends who I think they can also go ahead and tackle that problem. And they do. And they come back and say, Sam, Charlie, whatever I told me to do is working. Like a friend of mine just started a poultry farm business. Reeling turkey. People bring turkey into the country.
It's different.
Different. People bring turkey, and the turkey they bring is not the whole turkey, it's turkey wings. So he is reeling the turkey over here, selling the turkey, because the turkey eggs also are very nutritional.
I see.
Those who know, they know. Very nutritional. Selling turkey parts, turkey breast, and all that. Despite he started small,
It's
growing gradually, and he's making ends meet out of it. Something different. A lot of people eat chicken. So there are a lot of poultry, chicken, birds, but turkey is rare. So he has created that niche and he's following it. And each and every time he says, Sam, this advice you gave me was very good. An example, people are now rich. They are importing luxury cars into the market,
Yep.
into their homes.
Yep.
They barely drive them. When you barely drive them, it still accumulates dust. They cannot bet and send those cars to washing bays. So what do? Bring the washing bays to their house. Simple as that. Use the right quality materials. You solve the problem because it's constant. You might think it's not a problem, but it's someone's constant headache. How am I going to wash the car? I can't send this Porsche to this normal.
Honestly speaking, to drive into a washing bay and stay there for 30 minutes is a headache for me.
Right.
Almost all the time. So I think about half of the time my car looks dirty. Half of the time.
You get it. So people, these are problems people are not even thinking about. But me, when I'm on my free time, especially when I'm showering, that's when I get best ideas. Ideas just flow. So in the end, I just write them down. If I get someone who is having the money, who I think, not everyone, you might tell, some people have the money, knows a guy or two who can execute the work,
Yep.
but has the resources to back it up and monitor it, because in the end, it's his or her brand that is out. I'll share with you if you can go ahead. Why not? There are so many problems
That we can solve.
that we can solve. Running abroad is good. Some people will say the system is working over there. Our system is broken. That broken system, that means there are a lot of problems.
Where did you learn this from? Because you haven't traveled abroad. So how did you know that the problems we have here has got opportunities in them?
Good.
It's usually the people who are coming from the diaspora are the ones that have this mindset. Where did you learn it from?
You see, just last week, Saturday, I was having a conversation with my sister-in-law. She stays with my cousin in US. And they will always talk about the system in Ghana that is poor. And anytime they talk about it, I said, this problem is there. It might look big, but you can start from somewhere. Because they are seeing the difference between the two. They are clearly seeing the differences. So what I do is that anytime we have such conversations, I also see the problem, I note it down. I find in my free time, I find the best purpose. Every time everyone say, oh, why are you busy? Like, you are too busy. It's not that I'm busy. I might not be busy with the current work, but I'm trying to think outside the box and trying to find a solution to that problem that was being stated. Can I do it alone? Do I know somebody who is doing it or who is on a similar track that I can communicate to the person that, Jack, what you are doing good. I think if you add this to it,
right,
it's going to fire up better for you. That's what I think about each and every time. I have not traveled outside to go and stay there. I go for holidays.
I love it. That's how it's going to be.
Yes. I go for holidays based on what I have seen myself. I also explore. So based on what I see, I see a problem. Example, Ghanaians were not utilizing TikTok Live
Okay.
in terms of business. very well. I traveled to the UAE and I realized any shop I entered,
They were on TikTok.
they were on TikTok Live. I went to Kenya, the same thing happened. So I was like, why am I not doing this in Ghana? So what is going on? Why are we not even trying to? And every time, once you see people TikTok Live, either they are banting around, they are insulting somebody, they are playing a whole lot of, whilst you can monetize it. So when I came back, I had a TikTok page, but the TikTok page was not functioning. And between just 6 months, I've grown the page from 1,000 going to 11K. All from TikTok Live. So when I saw it was a problem that Ghanaians were now seeing how to utilize it, because the one who brought the channel has brought it out. But it depends on you, the individual,
How you use it.
how you use it. So when I came back, my staff were like, hey, so we are going to talk like that, playing teacher. I said, yes, because no one is doing that. And actually, it brings a lot of visibility. Before coming here, we did a TikTok Live.
Okay.
Within that period of less than 40 minutes, I'd reached a total amount of close to 5,000 people.
Wow.
Close to 5,000. That was where the reach got to. So just imagine you just being over there consistently. That's the reach you are getting.
Gives you visibility for your
Visibility
business.
for the business. So when I came back, I implemented it here, and it's working for me so much so well.
Sami, how many staff members do you have?
With my graphics and everybody, I have 8 people.
Well done to you.
Thank you.
Well done. There's a discussion around the staff troubles that most business owners face in Ghana and many parts of West Africa. My research tells me that it's worse in Nigeria. We in fact, we have it good compared to what goes on in Nigeria, how staff members are treating African-owned businesses. What has been some of your experience in the past?
I always learned this from social media. There was this guy called Dave Ramsey.
Yep.
Right. I listen to him a lot. And he always makes a statement that there is a menace going on in the US where workers are not giving or putting in, or staff are not putting in their best because they feel like they are just there to make the money and go. But previously, who you employ understands that whatever they are doing in that business contributes a quota so that in the end, a salary or a pay slip comes in. Because if you take care of the business takes care of you.
Yep.
And social media on the negative end is disrupting that flow. So a staff might come and work with you. In the end, they feel they're entitled.
Yep.
Why do they feel they're entitled? Some business owners are very greedy. That's the statement I'll use.
Okay.
Very greedy that the business is growing, but the staff doesn't feel the growth within the business.
Talk to me.
If your business is growing and the staff doesn't feel that change, one, it may be their compensations, right? 2, in the terms of services, the benefits, and they are still at the same point. There is no growth from their perspective, but they see visible growth. There are some business you don't see the visible growth, but they see the visible growth that is being put into it. And 2, their actions and inactions, their contributions are not being recognized. That is when the staff issues comes into play.
I see.
When the business is growing, one, let them feel it, that my contribution to this work is making the business grow. How do you let them feel it?
Okay.
You assign direct responsibility to that person. So if that particular portion of that business is not functioning well, you've assigned a direct individual responsible person for that. And now, example, you call a business, then a person says, hello, who is this? Oh, instead of saying, hello, welcome to Banana Bread Ghana, I'm so and so, how can I take your order? Or what do you want us to help you with? That alone changes the business tone or creates comfortability for the customer who is coming to buy from you, feel safe, feel confident that I can purchase from them. Just because you're saying, hello, this is Banana Bread Ghana, how may we help you, assist you with? It makes the person feel very comfortable. So if you assign that particular task to one person, and that person is doing it wholeheartedly, and based on those calls that come in, people make more purchases, and the business grows, and the person feels it in a source of compensation, aside their individual salaried giving.
Right.
How do you think the person is going to approach that task each and every day? That person is going to put more energy into it, more duty into it, or more diligence, and safeguard it. Because if something goes wrong, they know he or she is responsible for it. If something goes by their head, that particular compensation on that tip that comes is no longer to come again. So what do? They safeguard it. You've created some sort of ownership for them, that they own that particular side of the business. They are putting in that effort, and you are recognizing their efforts. You are accepting their thoughts, how they think that, boss, if we do this way, I think it's going to bring improvement. Knowledge is not shared by one, it's shared by many. You might have the resource, someone might have the knowledge. The knowledge plus the resource coming together grants you that success. And what that success means? More money. So in the end, if you are not listening to the employee, thinking that you created a business, you have all the ideas. No. Some ideas just turns the business from drowning to being afloat, and from afloat, sailing higher. So you just need to take your time, listen to what the staff are saying. Genuinely, if it's wrong, let them know it's wrong. Or even try, even if it's wrong, just give them the opportunity to execute it for them to see it's wrong. It might cost you small than you not being there. For example, I'm here talking with you, business is running. You give that particular person that opportunity to execute that. Once they realize, oh, it didn't go the way I thought it was, if you are not present, and they are not going to repeat that same mistakes. But if you don't give them the opportunity for them to express or tell you how the thing should go, and you are in your absence, it's going to cost you more.
Right.
So you need to take care, put in those measures. First and foremost, make sure that once the business grows, they feel it in terms of their take home. Even not their take home, you can put in processes like health benefits.
Right.
If you are sick, you can go to this also hospital, I'll take care of the bill. If this and that. In the end, they feel they own some part of it. Not necessarily on the bad side, but they appreciate that effort you give them in their voicing out.
Yep.
You have a direct individual responsible for, let's say, moving this car from A to here when we close. All these people, they safeguard it because they will not want the next person, right, to come into the picture and give them troubles with regards to this, because they are always praised for that. That is one aspect. Two, having discussions with your staff. Communicating with them.
Okay.
Some people do not do that. I have weekly. Sometimes within a week, you can do like 4 meetings. Why? Because I feel I do not have all the knowledge that is required to run the business. I learn from some, I pay for some, but someone has that knowledge or just idea that pivots around. Recently, one of my staff just gave me an idea to implement something. I never thought of it, and honestly, it had never crossed my mind. But because of those communications, meetings and all that, you're always good to go. And I always say, let the greedy person, right? The greedy person, anyone who is greedy would end up in the long run stealing.
Okay.
So in my session,
Let me stop you here for a minute. So if it's your first time watching Connected Minds, or you have been here before but still have not subscribed, do us a favor, because majority of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed. This doesn't help us grow beyond what we expect. So help us by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's get back to the conversation.
Let the greedy person account for inventory. You do it with them. It's like, you know that when you leave the fish, right, for the cat, and you are not there, the cat will come for it. But if you are going and you give it to the fish that, so
Well, you give it to the cat.
The cat.
To take care of it.
Take care of it. The cat knows that you gave it to her. If there's any problem, you attack them. So always, for me, the greedy person, if not greedy, chances that you are greedy or anything, I see it. And I'll send you to the things that are very keen, so that in the end you are responsible for it. And you know yourself that I know that I might be the one who will do what? Who might cause that problem. And they've given me the tax. I'll not even venture doing whatever I'm supposed to do. That thought might cross my mind, but you know that in the end, it's going to affect me because I'm in charge for it. So rather safeguard it, and you make sure that they are comfortable. Not too comfortable, because some staff, when they are too comfortable, they feel, who are you again? So you just always need to remind them that they take care of the business what take care of them. Don't you be the individual to be greedy, because there are these little things. Maybe the salary the person is earning is not enough for that person, but those little stipends or those extra tips make the person see that, okay, it's worth it. I've never had a staff who left without genuinely coming to tell me that, oh, okay, I'm leaving because A, B, or C, or I'm leaving because they all come on a good notice and tell me that they've been so long with me, they've got an opportunity somewhere which might benefit them. And I bless them with it. Because in the end, I'm living with you people on good notes. No one in my institution has left on a bad note. All those who leave, it's either a bigger opportunity that's open for them. Sometimes, not everyone in my immediate circle, I recommend people to approach them.
Okay.
Because if you grow, I'm not the only one who is going to benefit. It'd be beautiful that, oh, this person was the one who recommended me to this one, and this is who I am. And I'm happy about you moving on. But there are some people, they don't want you to move on past them. I'm not such a person. I always want everyone around me to win, because not everyone would be under you for a very long time.
Right.
You should understand that there is growth. So maybe if the individual under you might be lower, always try and strive for them to also increase in terms of their wealth or their skill. Because every time, as I said, time changes. Once time changes, new thing comes. So you always need them to be abreast. Recently, there was this conversation on social media. She's one person, she just opened a new coat store, and her employee, who just joined just about a month ago, with a new guy who joined about 2 months ago. She had been in the business for 2 months ago, and a new guy who came less than 3 weeks. Within a period of 3 weeks, took 30,000 cedis from the work.
3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks, took 30,000 cedis. Because what did she do? She left the business just to go and mourn her dad. And it took just a customer to bring her attention to it.
Yeah.
Because they were telling people that her mobile account has reached the maximum. So in the first place, it sends me back to the next point. You don't hire because of skill. You hire because of moral and attitude.
I see.
Don't hire just because the person has the skill. You need to hire because that person has a skill, that person has morals, that person has attitude, genuine ones, not ones that pretend.
Is it easy to know genuine people?
For me, if I feel you are not genuine, I don't click with you.
Right. So for yours is an egg you get. Okay.
So you see, you hire the right people, not based on just skills, attitude. Someone might have a skill, but that same person is going to collapse the business because of that person's attitude. And funny enough, because I have the same mindset, the people around me also have it. To extend my suppliers also have the same mindset. I just ventured into a new business where I sell seeds, organic seeds as well. And people are rushing to me and they are saying, where am I getting my product from? Because it's better than what is in the market, higher than what is in the market, tastes better. But in the end, I'm selling it for a reasonably down price. Where is it coming from? If my supplier was a greedy person,
Right. He would increase the cost price, so that would also affect your margin.
you see. So if you attract such energies, those energies will come to you. And if you genuinely pray, because you can do all that and you might still get a bad gnat that's going to spoil the rest. And there's always a bad gnat who is always disguised, wolves in sheep's clothing, pretending to be the best. So you should get prayer to be a guide as well. So these problems, once you're able to curtail the problem before they become problems, it becomes a solution for the problem which has not already arisen. So you solve the staffing issues that are theft. That is one. You get the right people, right mindset,
Yep.
good people who understand the business, who understand your vision to the trainings that you are going to do. Once you do all that and the person goes contrary beyond that, the next thing is you have to deal with the person, with the law. That's it.
Entrepreneurs are crying, but hopefully some of the tips you have given us today would help support some of my good friends who listen to this podcast and people who meet me outside and are like, Charlie, how are you guys doing it? Because we are struggling to find the right people to work with. I wanted us to go through a masterclass where you can tell us a little bit more about your business. But I'm getting the feeling that my audience would have gotten it already, especially those in business, and in the beginning, the people that don't have business would also benefit from that. So I would want to take this in this direction now. In building your business, in becoming the type of person you are becoming, which of these has been of great benefit, motivation or discipline?
Discipline. Because if you are disciplined, you're already self-motivated.
I actually like that. I think it's the first time I'm hearing this, but yeah, you're right.
If you are disciplined, you're already self-motivated.
Yeah.
And that would make you wake up each and every time
To work on your dreams.
Yeah. Some people are motivated, but they are not disciplined.
Yep.
They start it, actually, I'm fine. Oh, I will do it another time.
But what does it take to stay on course when something is not working? Like you start this business, it's not working out the way you expect it. What does it really take to stay on?
It's belief and faith. It's difficult to do it, but you need to believe and have faith. Because you are the only one who has that picture. And business, you have that picture. It's blurry, but as and when you journey through it, it becomes clearer.
Okay. Does it get easier?
It doesn't get easier.
Uh-huh.
That it doesn't.
Okay.
Any step you take, it becomes much difficult.
Okay.
Each and every time. But as you said, what makes you do it each and every time? Being self-disciplined, self-motivated, have that faith that if today doesn't pick, tomorrow it would. Being consistent, persistent. Somebody can be consistent but not persistent.
Right.
Those two go hand in hand, consistency and persistency. Once you do that, I tell you, the belief would be very little, but you always head towards what you want.
At this point, if you haven't clicked on the description to grab yourself a seat to Connected Minds Live in Kumasi or Sekrom on the 9th of September this year, you're failing us. So I want to see all the fans there. And then also, if you think what we are discussing is too much pressure for the young people, drop it in the comment. I'd love to know. I just love how this question make people look.
Best advice.
Unexpected. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've received was that never think anything given free is actually free. You'd pay for it. Either you pay for it with your time, or you swap it with ego, or in the end, the person uses that against you. Manipulation. Because, example, if someone wants to, example, say, I'll be the head sponsor of the show you are going to do in Kumasi. I'll provide all the resources. It's free of charge to you. But a person, based on that, would want to change the whole narrative of whatever you've even planned. It's free to you. Like you've sold that rights to that person.
He has an agenda.
So nothing free is free.
If you love this advice at this point, please comment. I'd love to know, but this is a beautiful advice. Can you recommend a book for us?
Dave Ramsey's book, How I Think About Money, by Dave Ramsey.
Yep. Awesome. I've enjoyed this conversation. I knew it was going to be a great conversation. You're a great guy.
I'm glad.
And I love the business you have. I love what you do. Hayford got one of these. I know he will finish it before we get downstairs. But awesome. And to my viewers and to my listeners, if you made it to the end, I'd really love to know in the comments. There's usually about 20, 30 people that make it to the end in one go. Most people binge watch this podcast because it's quite long. And if you made notes as well, Charlie, I want to see the notes in the comments so other people can learn. But I appreciate you so much. Take care of yourself. My name is Derek Abaite, and I'm out.